Hi, I'm being very opportunistic today and looking at 4 of the Tyrrell's Sacred Site Shiraz from the Hunter Valley. Opportunistic in that they were sent to me for review for Robert Parker Wine Advocate, which I did, and I have published the review in between Christmas and New Year 2022. I gassed the bottles right after I tasted them in the pursuit of being able to do one of these videos because these wines are quite rare. There's sort of 3,000 and 4,000 bottles of each made. You can only get them on Tyrrell's mailing list in Australia. They're about $100 a bottle, so they're very cheap. But they do number among Australia's greatest Shiraz. And I wanted to take this moment, to discuss why they taste so great and what it is about them. So starting in the first glass, the 2021, the All 21, 8 Acres Shiraz. So the vineyard, the 8 Acres vineyard, it was planted in 1892. When I talk about old vines, 1892, 1879, 1908 and 1867. These are really, really old vines. And what I think is most special about them is that each of these wines come in at very low alcohol. So this is 13.3%, which is the highest of the 4, 13, 13 and 13. And what that does for me, at least, is it gives the wine a bit of balance. There's plenty of ripe fruit characters. These are all defined by red berries and peppercorn. There's aniseed, a little bit of aniseed. There's rust and blood and kind of very red, pure, clean things. But they're very fine. They're light. You can see they're light. They've got a pinosity about them. They're just really, really impressive for that. So anyway, in the first glass, the 8 Acres Shiraz, I love this wine. These two for me sort of come as a pair. This is slightly more savoury than the 4 Acres in my opinion. It's got, like I say, red jelly snakes, peppercorn, blood, pomegranate. It's really fresh, but savoury overtones. Whereas the 4 Acres Shiraz, obviously planted in 1879, is lighter, sweeter, and I guess a little bit more aromatic. It's got a real density of tannin though, which I really, really like. So that carries all of the blood and the red berries from the 8 Acres, but it has a keel of tannin that sits far below the surface of the fruit, which sort of stabilizes the wine. It just, I love this actually. I think that was my I can't remember my slight preference because I think they were all sort of in the 97, 98 point range. I have a slight preference, I think, for the 4 Acres. Just incredibly delicious, but with real structural integrity, length and line. Moving into the third wine, this is the youngest vineyard, planted in 1908, which of course is not great at maths, 115 years old. Super good. This is probably the most complete in terms of intensity, density, shape and ripeness. It's lower alcohol than the 8 Acres at 13%, but it's on a far more even playing field, the characters. Really silky smooth. It's got like a plush velvet sort of character. Carries that red fruit really, really well. These are so elegant. They're just crazy. And they speak only about these vineyards in Hunter Valley. Hunter Valley Shiraz, when it's done well, is just so excellent, elegant and fine and exciting. And that's what this is. That's actually really texturally much more opaque than these, which have a clarity about them. This is more opaque. It's really fantastic. And then the old patch, planted in 1867, the oldest of them. There's a real, oh God, it's so good. There's a real vineyard DNA about this wine because other producers source from this vineyard as well. I know Mount Pleasant do. And there's a character that defies winemaking and transcends winemaking and just is what it is. And can't decide if it's like a blood or red fruit or there's spice there. It's like Szechuan, like a whiff of Szechuan peppercorn. It's so delicious. These are just excellent wines. They are kind of immune to hyperbole. They will defied the room as much as a Barossa Shiraz will, because each have such a distinct style. You either love it or you hate it. For me, I absolutely love this style of Shiraz. It really is, I mean, they're called Shiraz, and I love that because it's really Australian, but if we were to put them on a spectrum, these really do have a Syrah style to them. Velvety, fine, cool, lightweight, detailed, textured, focused, precise, awesome. If you see these, you should get them. I'm not telling you what to buy, but certainly if I am seeing them and I have the opportunity to buy them, I will, because these will not only give you great pleasure now and tonight, I'm going to drink them, not all of them, obviously. They're going to give great pleasure now, but they're going to give great pleasure in decades to come as well. And I think that's really important when we're looking to sell a wine. So I have just featured the 8 Acres in like a Hot Shot Australian Shiraz video, which I may release after this video. So you'll see this featured in 2 different ways. And I think that the context that this wine brings to that lineup, where we have Grange, Australis, Hill of Grace, etc., I think that really lends a balancing act, both stylistically and regionally, to that video. So as always, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Life is short, drink well, and if you can get some of this good stuff, you should, because it's really delicious.